Hello and welcome to Casual Buddhism. I'm so delighted tonight. We have a returning guest, Manuel Litalien. And of course, we have Venerable Dhammananda Bhikkhuni. And, I just have to say this Casual Buddhism, Venerable Dhammananda and I started it during the pandemic. We had maybe 60 different episodes. And the one that Manuel did was the most watched. It was a few years ago. It was on Buddhist ethics and abortion, and that was so interesting to me. So I'm happy to welcome him back. He always has some interesting topics. Manuel Litalien is currently an associate professor at Nipissing University in the Department of Social Welfare and Social Development. And that's in Canada. He received his PhD in political science at Université de Québec in Montreal and was a postdoctoral fellow at McGill University and later at the Canada Research Chair on Democracy. He has so many interests that include Southeast Asia, welfare regimes, governance, social policy, religion, philanthropy. There's a much longer list, but I'm not going to go on. This is so interesting. He also holds an adjunct position at Mahidol University in Thailand since 2013. And now the most wonderful part, he studied Buddhism with former Thammasat University professor. We know her as Venerable Dhammananda Bhikkhuni. She was then laywoman Chatsumarn Kabil Singh. So Manuel, thank you. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me again, Cindy. And Venerable Luang Me, it's such a pleasure to be in your company again. So I was thinking about what kind of topic I could possibly bring forward in this time of, I'd say, turmoil and high divisions and polarizations. And the theme seems to be coming to like imposing itself just because of current events and what's happening, not just southern of Canada, but across the world. It seems like we have more and more violence that are being witnessed, and people also advocating for different modes of governance. I'm just curious to hear Luang Me, Venerable Bhikkhuni Dhammananda, to talk about, perhaps not so much the notably like the great walk for peace that happens in the US, it's a great initiative, but which promotes national healing, peace, compassion, and kindness. But I'm curious about how what's the treatment of violence in Buddhism, especially these days of high polarization and division? Any lesson on how to cope with violent acts, intolerance, and greed that we see happening across different countries? So, Venerable Luang Me, perhaps we could have your lights on a little bit on trying to grasp the complexity of how Buddhism and violence interacts with each other, deal with each other.
On the screen. He's a professor, so he comes from a very heavily professor background, and his question itself is a paper. The length of question itself is a paper. So he mentioned about peace walk. Let's talk about peace walk. This peace walk, we don't know anything about it until the peace walk had already started, and we didn't know how many people were involved. How did they get started? We didn't know anything about that. But I was very moved to see the presentation of one of the evenings that the monks spent. These monks, 19 of them, some of them were from Thailand. I know some of them were from the south and some of them from the northeast. They're very hardy type of people, And then there was some other nation in it. The monk who led, I am very impressed with him, is Panyakara. The spelling is Panna, but that N should have a little curve on top, which is pronounced as Ya Ying. Panyakara. Panyakara, the name is Pali, but he looked like Thai, so we almost claim him as Thai. No, he's Vietnamese born, but raised up in United States. So that's why he had command of English to be the leader of the group. And it's very important that the leader of the group knows the American culture well, so that he can actually handle the questions that come from the floor, the large crowd of people. Towards the end of the walk is 112 days, and it covered 2,300 kilometers from Texas across to Washington, D.C. So you can imagine through the difficult temperature wise, it's very difficult for them because these monks, they wear the robe, which is good for warm climate, and so they have to put 2-3 layers of clothes. And then on the way, some women wanted to hug them, and he was very sweet. He said that according to the monastic vows, we don't allow that. But then he added, apart from that, they haven't had shower for some days. So it was very sweet. And in the evening when they gathered, they did the chanting. And because all of them came from Theravada tradition, so they chant the same Pali. Maybe the tone may be a little different, but somehow they can come together. And Panyagara, the monk who led this group, he was very good with his voice. When at the end of the sound of his breathing, he would turn it softly so that others can join in. So when you listen to it, it is. I wanted to say it's well prepared, but I know that they did not prepare. They did not prepare, but they came out. It came out as though it was well prepared. They sat there, 19 of them, chanting together, and then Panyagara would, towards the end, give a little Dharma talk. And the talk always focused on this peace movement. And the question that Manuel had in the back of his mind is that, in this turmoil, in this violent setting, how are we going to handle ourselves as individual, at the same time as individual in society? I think if we look at this peace walk, the peace walk itself will give us a lot, will offer us a lot to understand the situation. One Thai monk was hit by a car, while he was walking, and he had to be hospitalized. But after a few days, he joined back, but this time in wheelchair. So it shows how to say, the quality of the mind. And he was all smiling as though nothing happened to him. So this incident of this peace walk itself would be a piece of answer to Manuel's question.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Thank you so much, giving that context. Because I know there's other peace walk happening elsewhere around the world as well. So it's not just limited to the US. There have been other attempts in the past, right? So some people might think of these peace walk as a new event. Perhaps Venerable could speak about the tradition of peace walking. For example, we've seen that in Cambodia. We've seen just to fight against the tension between Thailand and Cambodia, for example. I don't know if Venerable could shed light a little bit on the tradition of peace walk, Buddhist peace walk.
Actually, the walk actually is called Tudonga. Tudonga means, the forest walk. The forest monk, they usually travel by feet to travel from one place to another. And that is their own practice. But this time it is organized so that they walk for a certain purpose. And I think it's very appropriate because as they walk across the states in United States are going through lots of trouble. And the people are at the situation where they do not have spiritual guidance. They feel lost. They don't have spiritual guidance. And the fact that there are some Buddhist monks who are genuinely letting go of their own interest, come and walk, just symbolic, walk as a symbol towards peace, that you can do this, you can do this. And some Americans who approached them, some of them said, they were just about to commit suicide. But when they meet this movement, they meet these monks, somehow they understood that the meaning of life is different. And I think if we look through this particular peace walk, we learn a lot. We learn a lot how they organize it, what we have not yet learned about the idea behind it. How did they get started? For example, it's not in public yet. How did they get started? How you need a large group of people to be behind it in order to arrange for where the place to sleep, where to rest, the food to offer to the monks, and the monks, they eat only up till lunchtime. After that, what are they going to take? What kind of drinks? What kind of and so you imagine behind this 112 days, what kind of arrangement must be done in order to make it possible. So we have to see the things in the larger structure to understand and to appreciate this peace walk. I don't think any other peace walk will have the same effect, because this one was done with the monks. Each monk themselves does not hold any titles. They just come and join pure-heartedly. So I think that if we really study this particular peace walk as a paper itself, as a paper itself to study, I think we can learn a great deal. Do you remember the dog, Aloka?
Yes,
That is a very popular dog. The popular dog was very attached to Panjagara. But then Panjagara, Aloka will not go back to the temple where Panjagara lived. In Panjagara's own temple, there are two more dogs. One is Mudita and one is Karuna. So when Panjagara returned to his temple, the two dogs jump on him, out of joy for missing him for so many days. So you see that there is a full expression of loving kindness, full expression of loving kindness and compassion that these monks express quietly. Those who joined in the group, they didn't speak, but quietly they are part of it. And there was no how to say, there was no fighting or anything. Just everyone came for the same purpose, for the same goal. And the peace walk was really peaceful expression of these 19 monks. That is something for us to learn. Not to talk about Manuel try to lead to Cambodian and Thai border. That will be another issue. That I don't think I can address, because I am part of it. So I will be speaking. I cannot be speaking as a Bhikkhuni, but I have to be speaking as Thais being attacked by the Cambodians, and the Cambodians said, no, you are the one who attacked us. So I take side already.
Right. If I may say something, Longmei, to me, you are a model of how to deal with adverse criticism and deep polarity, because in your initial year when you came back as a samaneri from Sri Lanka to Thailand, you met with a lot of opposition, a lot of criticism. And, I think really the spirit that you came with is very similar to that of the monks. Well, you did not react in anger. You did not become defensive. From what I understand, and you can speak to this, you came from a point of wanting to educate, and ultimately, I think you came from a position of compassion. Can you just speak a little bit to that?
In fact, I didn't expect. I know that once when I return home, there will be lots of people who are against my ordination, but I didn't expect it will be so many, so many, and very strong criticism. And some of the criticism were very negative. And as our practice, we do not allow us to be trapped into somebody else's negative emotion. So that's part of my practice. If they come to me wanting to know whether ordination is possible, I am willing to talk to them. But if they already decided that ordination is not possible and they come to talk to me, they will be bombarding me with their negative energy. In that case, then I allow them to be. I allow them to be as it is. I don't get into fighting mode. But if they come with pure interest to know about the ordination, then I will spend time talking to them. So we have to understand that as academic, I think that's a strong point about being academic. As academic, I was very certain of what I did because I am being supported by the Buddha's teaching. I'm being supported by the text. I can quote which page, which line that the Buddha allowed women to be ordained. But my society is a society for many hundred of years that they didn't have ordination of women. So therefore, they have misconception. They don't have the right understanding of the ordination. So that's why they are the way they are. But if I open the way and allow them to see, otherwise, if they have the balance of the mind, there's willingness to listen, then I will spend time to talk to them. But otherwise, I will have to ubeka, equanimity. Let them be. Let them be.
That's such a powerful message to provide in a time of polarization. And I love what Cindy is saying because it's truly what I remember from your own teaching is, and as an educator, you're there in the world, you're part of the world, you're not there against the world, and you're actually coping with a lot of different tensions. As an academic, you're being criticized all the time as well. And perhaps that also guided you in a different mindset in engaging with the structural violence thrown at you and a way to navigate this, not in terms of resistance, but more in terms of welcoming. If you're coming with an open heart, my heart is also open, so we can have a dialogue. So it's not. So I think that's a very strong lessons against the structural violence against women that we see in Thailand, but also Theravada Buddhist countries where they don't have access to the full ordination. And so I think your life is a good example. Sorry, go ahead.
Some people also take advantage of the ordination. They said, oh, now the ordination is possible, therefore now we gain the right to be ordained. I'm sorry to say that ordination is not an issue of right, because you are being given. Ordination is being given. Western people always use the word wrong, They always say, I ordain. No, you have to say, I was ordained, meaning I receive ordination. Ordination is giving to you. You cannot demand. If your teacher doesn't think you are the right person, it is his right not to give you ordination. So ordination is not something to be demanded simply because you're a woman. You are demanding the right to be ordained. That is wrong attitude. Wrong attitude. You have to be humble. You have to be submissive. Because once you're ordained, you have to be ordained under a certain teacher, and you have to be submissive. You have to be obedient to listen to your teacher. Otherwise, monastic training is not possible. It is not only the form, you put on the robe and you already become ordained and people have to pay respect to you. That's wrong attitude.
Thank you so much. That's amazing.
Thank you. I think maybe if it's okay, Manuel, is this a good place to close at this point?
So.
Okay.
Yeah,
But the words that stuck with me came from Manuel tonight, and that is we maintain an open heart in the presence of all that's going on. And that's very helpful to me. So thank you for saying that. And thank you for this discussion. It was really great. As always, it's great to have you.
Thank you. It was such a pleasure to be with both of you this evening. Thank you so much. It's a privilege to be with both of you.
Thank you. And thank you, Long May, always.